Welcome back to episode 4 of Harvest Podcasts, brought to you by Growers Network. Growers Network is dedicated to helping cannabis professionals learn more about cultivation and professional cannabis growing. For more details about the topics covered in this episode, take a look at the article it was based on at growersnetwork.org. Today's podcast is also brought to you by DryGair, an Israeli-based company that manufactures dehumidifiers and climate control systems. If you're interested in getting a dehumidifier for your grow-op, check them out at DryGair.com. That's spelled DRYGAIR.com. Today, we'll start with a moment of silence in respect to all the good kush lost to the disease triangle. Rest in peace. We'll be learning more today about our silent killer and how we can use that knowledge to protect our young buds from meeting a diseased fate. Now, we've all had a bad high or even just a bad case of the sniffles at least once in our lives, but all of that is nothing compared to the headaches you get from trying to cultivate a diseased plant. After all, when it comes to cannabis, or any crop really, having your grow become infected means you get a much lower yield and of a much lower quality. You're also paying through the nose to minimize the damage as you try to make the best of a bad situation. Whew, I think I need a hit just thinking about it. Alright, now I want you to imagine a football locker room, right? People keep all their sweaty clothes in and laying around, the doors are kept shut so the smell and bacteria just festers and multiplies, and then suddenly everyone who goes in comes out with pink eye. That's your grow-op. Actually, let me fix that. That's your grow-op when you're not taking care of it correctly. Unfortunately, greenhouses and indoor operations are the perfect breeding grounds for diseases. Everything's nice and humid and green, and that's a tropical vacation for powdery mildew and fungus. Throw in a single, densely packed host species, your crop, and it's starting to look like the free salad buffet at Charlie's. The recipe for this awful disease salad is pretty basic. We've got 1 part host species, which can be anything green, growing, and smokable, and 2 parts bud rot, or really just any plant disease. Cook at 70 degrees for a few days and you've got yourself a ruined plant. This is essentially all the disease triangle is. That first corner being a good, humid environment, the second your plant itself, and the third being the disease. If these 3 things exist at the same time for long enough, your crops will begin to go through pathogenesis, which just means disease starts to form, and we start getting those same headaches from earlier. But we're smart, rational, problem-solving people, right? Doers, not don't-ers. We've got a nice, controlled environment, and what we say happens inside it happens. We've got this disease triangle, but all we really have to do to contain it is stop one of these corners, right? One thing we can do is change the host somehow. Now, I'm not suggesting you switch from cannabis to carrots, but disease-denying doobie is a popular option. Some plants and strains have been bred to be incompatible with common diseases or have some kind of innate resistance. The war on disease is constant, though, and new strains of pathogen are being waged against our plants daily. Having a resistant plant isn't the cure-all, since the disease can and will change quickly. Another thing we can do is try to get rid of the target pest. Pathogens don't just find their way into your growery by going through the chimney. They're brought in by pests, and pests can be deterred. Using a pesticide lets you target specific diseases effectively and efficiently. Now, I'm not personally a fan of this. As a consumer myself, when I go to smoke that fat blunt, I don't want it smelling like bug spray. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's true. Using the wrong form of pesticide or using it incorrectly can easily ruin your crop. If you plan on using it, make sure you look up the laws about their usage and then proceed with caution. In fact, a great place to find these laws and some handy procedures and tricks is to check out some articles on growersnetwork.org. It's exactly the place for growers like us to get information catered to our business. We use it in preparation for these episodes, and I can personally vouch for its usefulness. But it's that third section of the triangle that excites me the most, since it's the corner I know I have the most control over, the environment. Every disease needs a specific set of conditions to take root, and can be very, very picky. There needs to be the right humidity level, a perfect temperature, certain state of air circulation, certain lighting. With all this knowledge, and in our own closed greenhouse environment that we hold the key for, we can make a huge impact. Lighting, temperature, humidity levels, irrigation, air circulation, these are all several things we already have the means to control. So why not take advantage of the tools we already have? We can manipulate the environments that it's unfavorable for the disease, but comfortable for our plants. Let's take bud rot, or botrytis, but I'm going to say bud rot. Bud rot as a disease does best in wet and humid conditions. This is because the moisture in the plant allows the fungus to take root. It stands to reason then, if we have a good dehumidification system, we can nip the problem in the bud, no pun intended. Now, we'll get back to the science of it all in a second, but if you're just looking for a good dehumidifier for your grow, remember to check out our sponsors DryGair at DryGair.com for some quality machinery. They can help you regulate your growing environment and really protect against the biological warfare being waged against our crop. So, now that we have complete control over our facility and growing environment, we can easily lower the relative humidity to keep bud rot at bay. With the plant surfaces dry, the mold spores can't develop, and the disease is effectively prevented. One thing I should mention, though, is that when you're adjusting the environment to prevent a disease, you shouldn't also harm the plant in the process. Any grower worth his salt knows this already, but if you've got your greenhouse stone cold, then there won't be much green when you're through. So let's sum up. If you want to prevent diseases from taking root in your grow, you need to know where your potential threats are coming from. Know the pests, know the plant you're growing, and control your environment accordingly. Learn what environmental conditions are favorable to disease formation and what tools you have at hand to gain control over the situation. Rather than reacting to the problem, be proactive and use the power you have to prevent disease before it arrives. A well-informed grower has an effective toolkit at the ready and will be rewarded with healthy, happy crops. And that's it for this episode of the Harvest Podcast. If you want to be featured in our Grower Spotlight articles or have it read by me in a Harvest Podcast, shoot an email to nick@growersnetwork.org with the subject header Harvest. If you'd like to learn more about growing cannabis with us, check us out at growersnetwork.org. Subscribe to our feed to get the latest Harvest episodes with exclusive info and promos. Read the latest news and tips on how to grow and much, much more. Check out the community, find like-minded individuals, and learn with us. I'm Devin with the big hair. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.